Hi everyone. This is going to be a few-part video. It's going to be over the process of a few days, so just bear with the breaks and things like that. But this week, one of my goals is to meal prep. And that is often quite intimidating for a lot of people. I know it's very intimidating for me, but it's something going into this year that I really wanted to do and to take advantage in saving time around dinner time, since we really value that time as a family at the end of each day. I really wanted it to be more of an enjoyable thing and not so much of a chore as cooking dinner all the time. And so I do like to cook, and but I don't like figuring out what to cook each night, and that can be sometimes really exhausting. And so this week, one of my goals is going to be to meal prep. And so I am going to be doing I have a list currently of about 20 different meals that I have planned, and today I am planning on going through those and marking out all the ingredients that I'm going to need, so that I can go and do a grocery shop for those ingredients that I don't quite have yet. I'm going to be pulling meats out of the freezer today, and I am also sharing with you a fun little tip that I did yesterday in the process of figuring out how I can freeze meals, because I'm going to be doing frozen bag, like dump meals. So you just dump them into a crock pot. You would combine all your ingredients, you dump them into a crock pot. And I'm going to be doing already made and put together meals that are in these pans. I went to a local thrift shop yesterday, and I got I think I got 6 or 7 9x13 pans for $1 or $2 at the store. And I am going to be, my goal is to always have these filled and in the freezer. So I'm going to hopefully be doing about 20 meals between dump and frozen meals that I'm going to just have assembled and wrapped so that I can just pull them out, and all I'll have to make for that night is a side or throw together a salad or something more fresh with those meals. And so it's going to be a little bit longer of a video. However, just stay tuned because I have a lot of really fun recipes. We've been, over the past week, some of the recipes are new, so we've tried a few new recipes to make sure we like them before I go ahead and freeze them and just have on hand in our freezer. So if you have the space to do it and you have the ability to whip a bunch of meals together. I also am using a very small kitchen. For those of you who know my kitchen, it's very small. And I also generally have kids here, obviously. And so we're going to be doing this. I'm going to be walking through the recipes. We're going to be having a cook day. I'm currently cooking lunch right now. And so we are going to be having all those things going on as well throughout this video. So what to expect is me showing you my list and the recipes. I'll be going through the recipes with you and really itemizing a list so I know what to shop for and what I have. And I'm going to do the grocery shopping, and then we are going to just go and have a full cooking day. I'm not sure which day yet this week it's going to fall on, but hopefully in the next 2 days I'm starting prepping to throw those recipes. I might be, because I do have a lot of kids and a schedule to work around as well. I may have it broken down in a few days. I might prep meats and cook meats ahead of time and then assemble everything. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but we're gonna dig into this together, and I'm excited. Thank you for all your support, being here with me. Here we go. Okay, so I'm taking the time right now. I wanted to share with you a few of the recipes that I am going to either be freezing in a 9x13 pan, or I'm doing a dump recipe, which is basically you add all of the ingredients into like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and you freeze it as is, and label it, freeze it, and then sometimes you can even put in your like baking instructions. You can just write on the bag. So the first recipe is a beef and broccoli teriyaki. All of these recipes are pretty simple. I will have to link the web address in the comments that I get these from. It's pretty simple. She gives you a few different options. You can either make it now and gives you the instructions if you're going to make it at that moment. You can make it as a freezer meal. And then she also tells you how to do a quick thaw for it, a healthy way to do a quick thaw for it. And then she gives you a couple of different cooking options. So the make it now, she has like you can cook it in a wok or a large skillet. And then obviously if you are doing it as a freezer meal, this particular one is a gallon size freezer bag. And she just says add a label to the bag and sealed steak and with cornstarch bag, sealed sauce bag. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the meat in one bag and then you're going to have the sauce in one bag and you're just tucking these into the gallon size freezer bag. Of course, this varies on recipe. They're not all like that. And so then you basically are just thawing it and dumping everything together and cooking it. So, and then you can either cook this in a crock pot, you can slow cook it, or you can add it directly to your skillet when the time comes. So, broccoli and beef teriyaki. A pesto tortellini bake. So, this would be in a 9x13 pan frozen. And then the instructions, again, she has a make it now option, a make it a freezer meal, and she actually has bake from frozen. So, if your instructions to and how to bake it directly frozen, the times and stuff like that. And so for the make it now, she has you, for the make it freezer, she has you cover it with plastic wrap, pressing down to remove as much air as possible, then cover with foil and label and freeze. So these are going to be so wonderful. And we don't eat a lot of pesto, and this is actually one that we did not try yet, and I do want to try this one in the next few days. I plan to make this. So just to try and make sure we do like it. I like pesto and I like tortellini. So and I love anything casserole related. So it's going to be a win-win for me. I know it will be. But these instructions are really quite simple. It has 1 pound of cheese tortellini. You can do fresh or frozen. 2 jars of Alfredo sauce, which you don't even have to do the jars. I have struggled for years with store-bought Alfredo sauce. I don't like it. I have tried numerous brands of Alfredo sauce. So if there's an Alfredo sauce that you buy that's store-bought, let me know your favorite and I will definitely give it a shot. But I just usually make mine because I just favor how I make it. And so I'll do Alfredo sauce, which I'll probably have to get the right ratio with that because can't say that my recipe, I do everything to looks and to taste, and so I don't usually measure. Half a cup of pesto, 1 cup of mozzarella cheese, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then your pan. And so, 2 cups of shredded rotisserie chicken. But that can be optional too. You can just do a pasta dish. You could probably even do a beef if you would prefer a beef with your tortellini, but I will definitely try it as is. I'm excited to try that combination. We are also going to be doing stuffed shells. That's just something that I usually make stuffed shells, and I'm going to be freezing meatloaf. I'm going to have like meatloaf muffin pans already assembled and frozen, so I just have to pull out and just bake. And you can even do reheated stuff too. I like to freeze as much as I can uncooked because I feel like it's hard to, well, not necessarily, because if I do like a spaghetti bake or something, then I cook that meat obviously before I assemble it. But there's a bunch of different routes you can really do it. It's really just prefers on how quick you want something to be. Either way, you have to reheat it from frozen, so you're going to have a little bit of a cooking window. Easy ravioli lasagna. So we're going to have quite a few pasta dishes. I love Italian food. We eat a lot of it. So if your diet is not keen, like if you follow a diet does not have pasta in it, this is not going to be great for you because we're going to be doing lasagna. I'm doing like a frozen cavatelli, and the shelf life on these guys is like 3 months. And so if you're not going to cook lasagna in 3 months, then do something that fits your schedule and what are the things that you guys already eat and you cook on a regular basis. And then you'll kind of figure out, oh, okay, like don't cook recipes that you won't ever cook, because then you don't know if you're ever going to eat it and you might just avoid it because it's new to you. So I do recommend always trying recipes like I have done and that we have done before you actually start freezing meals and, things like that. And these are great to also have on hand if you know somebody who could just use a meal. And so you can just pop it out of your freezer, de-thaw it, and deliver a meal. It's a great thing for that too, because sometimes when you have a busy lifestyle, it's hard. It's really hard to do the things you want to do because your schedule restricts you a little bit. So we're doing a cilantro lime chicken. And again, this is a crock pot one. So this is a bag and you throw it in a crock pot and go. Cube steaks with gravy. This one is mostly just like meat with a sauce that you have to make, and you put it into, you can do a bag or you can do a 9x13 pan, but this one I will probably write some ideas, and she has some suggestions on what to do with good complementary sides with it, or you can just go ahead and do a side with this. Like an option for this one would be to add potatoes right in with your cube steaks with gravy, because who doesn't like a roasted potato in with your gravy and cube steaks. So this is just an option, or you can do those fresh as well, because making potatoes is still easier than doing potatoes and beef and a side. So and this, she gives you options for you can make it now, you can do a freezer meal, you can do it cook in an Instant Pot or in a regular crock pot. So if you have an Instant Pot, we do, and I love our Instant Pot, and so I would most likely do with that because that's just even more of a time saver. Chicken French dip sandwiches. So this is more of like a lunch idea. I think we'd usually do sandwiches more so for lunch than dinner, but this is a great option. Make it now, make it in the freezer, cook it in your Instant Pot, cook it in your crock pot. These all come from happymoneysaver.com. And it is so true that, having freezer meals ahead of time really will help save money in the long run. It might be an expense up front to make all those meals and purchase all the ingredients and have everything, but this is going to be, you kind of eliminate excuses on eating out, grabbing something quick on the go. Maybe you're not feeling well. Things like that, and you have to, I'm not feeling well, let's get takeout. I'm not feeling well, let's get a pizza delivered. This kind of eliminates your excuses on extra spending too. So again, it will be a cost up front, just purchasing all the ingredients and that sort of thing. But just budget it in, or you can do a little bit each month and just I'm doing 5 or 6 freezer meals this month, every month, and just have it a part of your regular budget. So, easy sausage gumbo, and this could be Instant Pot, crock pot meal, and she also has the serving size. So I'll probably be doing pretty strict to the recipe my first go around and see if it is. Most of these say it serves 6. So we are a family of 7, and it does, of course we have littles, so they don't always eat. They don't eat as much as I do, or Ethan does. Some of them. And so you can also easily double these and create 2 meals. So when I do it, I will probably be doubling a couple of them just so that I have 2 pans of lasagna instead of 1, that sort of thing. And then 2, it's like saving all that work too in the future. Beef barley stew, shredded beef fajitas is another one. Best ever healthy turkey chili. I already make a turkey chili, a ground turkey chili, and I absolutely love it, and it's wonderful, and our whole family likes it. Even the kids eat it, but I am going to try her recipe. And sesame honey chicken lettuce cups. We did this one last week, and I will say the chicken was very good. I really liked it. It was easy. We made it now. That was the last one that we made, and so I will definitely be doing a couple batches of that one as well because it's so good. So those are the first ones that I'm going to be doing. And then I have a couple other ones written down that we eat on a regular basis. Again, I'm only one person, and my goal is to get about 20 meals. They don't all have to be different, but just 20 meals. Even if I double up and do 2 pans of lasagna, that's 2 meals with 1 recipe. So these over the next, I don't know, month or so, I really plan to get my freezer stocked with freezer meals. And so these are some other ideas that I had that we eat on a regular basis. One is stuffed hot peppers. We all love those. I do a couple bell and a couple hot in the same pan. Some for my kids, some for Ethan loves hot foods. And so stuffed peppers. I already told you about the stuffed shells and the meatloaf. I make sausage croissants. So I make a croissant roll, have croissant rolls, and it's so easy. You take a couple pounds of sausage and mix it in with cream cheese and a couple other spices, and then you stuff it and you make kind of like a loaf. And then I actually bake that one, and then when I pull it out, we usually eat one, and I make 4 or 5 at a time. And they give you like a thing this big, and you could just pull them out for breakfast, throw it in the oven, and heat it up, and you're good to go. One of our favorites. Taco casserole, chicken, broccoli, and rice casserole, creamy meatballs, freezer breakfast sandwiches. If you're a breakfast sandwich people, freezer breakfast sandwiches are a great option. Cracked out chicken tater tot casserole, cheeseburger pie, and then some other things that if I was in a perfect world and could do this all in one week, I would do like a barbecue in bulk and just have some like barbecue that we can just de-thaw and heat up and throw some sandwiches together. So those are some more options, but more to come. I'm going to be going through and writing out all the ingredients that I don't have that I need to shop for and where they're going to go with which recipe, and then get started on the shopping part. So we have been getting half cows and chunking them out that way. I'm just purchasing half a cow at a time, and so here is some ground beef that we already had, and here is the steak, and the bacon is not from the cow, obviously, but I do have bacon there. I also have a roast de-thawing. I have it defrosting in the microwave because it was a little thicker, and I figured I would be close to starting with that. So a few things before I really get started. I did do my shopping list last night, and we have a 2-hour delay for school today, so all of my kids are currently home, but I'm still getting started and still utilizing the time and my plan for the day. Sometimes we're thrown wrenches in our day, right? But we still need just to make sure we can do what we can to stay on task. So I went ahead, instead of going out this morning and shopping, I did an Instacart order, and so that should be here within the next hour. And that's going to be the rest of my ingredients, and I'll be showing you my list of what I got, my cost of all the ingredients that I have, and we're really going to see how many meals I'm able to get out of the cost that I spent on these groceries. Now, the only thing that I will not really be able to target in is the meats that we already have on hand, because I only purchased a few meats. I think like kibasi and shrimp, and I think I got a thing of boneless, skinless chicken breast, 1 or 2 of those. And so those I'll be able to factor into the cost. But as far as the beef and the steaks and the bacon, ground turkey, I had a bunch on hand already, and I had frozen corn and frozen peppers and onions, and so those kind of things aren't included on my grocery list, is where it would be typically a little bit more, but I'm thankful that I had them and was able to. No, it's for Axe, okay? Did you already have one? If you did not have one, you may have it. So just bear with me today. I'm excited to start these meals. I think we're going to start with the Italian and the pasta stuff and get right into it that way. A few tips for you when working in the kitchen with lots of kids. There's 2 times that I love to get in the kitchen. One time is when they're all playing nicely and quietly together, and I can just have a few moments to just do something in the kitchen by myself. They are all right there, so I can see and you can all hear them with me, but they are all playing and just in their element with playing. And so that's one opportunity I love to get in the kitchen. So you'll be seeing a combination of me being in the kitchen, out of the kitchen quite often, with kids, without kids. The second time I love to get in the kitchen is sometimes whenever they're just antsy and they can't find anything to seem to entertain them, or they're just tired of playing with something and they just need something to do. I'm like, let's go to the kitchen and do something. And so that's another opportunity that I'm really like to get in the kitchen, is when sometimes they just need something to do. Let's go make a batch of cookies. Let's go prep dinner. Let's go cut up some veggies. Let's go do something. And those two opportunities are really, really good opportunities to get into the kitchen. This is also, I'm starting right now my sausage croissants. Because I have them, and I think I have enough time to get them in really quickly. And so it also needs time to cool before I assemble them. This is becoming one of my absolute favorite tools. This is the Pampered Chef tool. I don't even know what this is called. I know it's Pampered Chef. I don't know if it's the masher or I don't know. It's called something. I don't know what this is. But it's becoming one of my favorite tools. I use it for a few different things. I use it for ground beef, and so, or sausage, like I'm currently making sausage with it, like loose sausage. And so this just just breaks up the sausage so nice. I can put a link in the description below on how to get one of these, or exactly what it is called. And I don't even know the cost of it, but it is completely worth it. If you make anything loose and it just breaks it up, it's way better than trying to break it up with the spatula. The other thing I use for it is I keep and save all of my eggshells, and I've had a previous video on some things that I do with eggshells, but I keep them all because we eat eggs every single day. And so I just take this and I break all of my eggshells up, and I actually give these right back to the chickens then, and they get nutrition from that. Okay, so I am working currently on shredded beef fajitas, and so this takes 1.5 pounds of beef or roast. I did a chuck steak, and so I already sliced it all up. It says to chunk into 4 large pieces, but I did a few more than that. An onion, a bell pepper, you need 15 ounces of tomatoes drained, 1 cup of beef broth, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, and then it also has you do 12 ounces of ground sausage in with this as well. So this is one of my bag freezer meals, and so I already have the beef in there, and I'm just going to add everything else to the bag, label it, and it's done. first meal is done for the day. It's a pretty full 1 gallon Ziploc baggie. I'm going to go ahead and double bag these just because I'm not gentle with things. So I'm just going to go ahead and double bag these. I did label it beef fajitas, and then underneath it, it's just, you guys can't really see too well, I did write the instructions. It's going to be just dumped in an Instapot for 60 minutes, but you saute it first with your saute setting on the Instapot for 5 minutes prior to the 60 minutes. In the Instapot under pressure. So that's already done. I'm gonna lay it flat on my pan, and then we'll just stick it in the freezer. I did add corn to this recipe because we like corn, especially served with our fajitas, so I thought it could only improve it. I do tend to veer from recipes a little bit, so bear with me on that. If I make adjustments to the recipes, I will let you guys know. But I did veer from that, and I did add corn as well to this because I just thought that would be a great touch. One thing expense-wise that I didn't have to also worry about was the tomatoes. I canned my own tomatoes, and so I added a jar of tomatoes from our garden this past season instead of using the diced tomatoes, the 1 can of diced tomatoes. This might be a little bit larger than the 15 ounce. Not too much larger though. I don't know how many ounces in a pint. Let me do my math. Actually, it's probably going to be pretty close. It might actually be just a smidget bigger. Added that right from our garden. I will say that we do really like to eat fresh foods, but this time of the year, we don't have fresh foods always on hand. So this is the time of the year where I'm really using the foods that I've canned and preserved from our garden. This is like full throttle right now. And so I am really thankful to be able to utilize some things that we did have in our garden for these freezer meal recipes. Okay, so I got my Aldi grocery delivery this morning, and I spent $67 on all these items. So I got shrimp because that's in one. All this stuff is in one of the recipes that I am doing. So I got a few bags of the cheese ravioli. I got a couple boxes of cornstarch. I don't need that many. But I did get a couple bags of cornstarch, sour cream. I got croissant rolls, which I do believe that they also have their brand of croissant rolls, but they were out, so they substituted that item for me. I got pepperoni, fresh cilantro. I have a few bags of bell peppers because we have a few recipes that call for the bell peppers. I did use, for one of the recipes, I did use a frozen peppers and onions that I already had on hand, which I do have more of those on hand, but I will use the fresh for the next recipes. This was a substitute item as well. I was supposed to get frozen chopped spinach, but they were out of that as well, so they substituted fresh spinach, which I think I can totally use fresh spinach. It's not going to be a problem. I think it's in one of my pasta dishes is the spinach. Broccoli. If you have never been to Aldi, they have a very good priced produce, and usually their produce is pretty fresh. I've never had any issues. The only thing I will say is their bananas are never ripe. That is my only complaint about Aldi's produce, but other than that, their produce is very good. I did get a can of diced tomatoes just for the sake of a recipe, but I do have a few recipes that also call for diced tomatoes, so I won't veer too much from that. And I got a few cans of red kidney beans and a few cans of black beans. I got mozzarella cheese. I do blocks, and I tend to favor just to shred my own cheese. I got a few things of 3 cheese tortellini. One of the recipes I believe calls for a pound, and these were 9-ounce packages. So I think tortellini in general is just an expensive noodle to get. it would probably be cheaper to make your own noodles. I am not quite there yet. I still purchase my noodles for the most part. I got a few things of cream cheese. I got grated Parmesan cheese. Got Roma tomatoes. A few bags of carrots. I got a can of sliced tomatoes, or I'm sorry, those are clearly not tomatoes, those are mushrooms. Again, a few bags of carrots. I got soy sauce, and I went ahead and got the reduced sodium soy sauce just because I feel like a lot of foods have so much salt in them, especially I think I have a teriyaki recipe, and I know it's going to be loaded with sodium, and so I just try to cut the sodium where I can. I got a jar of pesto and more minced garlic because I knew that I was going to be almost out, and then again I just have some doubles of other items. So I got all this stuff for, I think it was $67 and some odd change with the substitutions altered. And so we're gonna keep chiseling away here. I currently have 1 round of sausage croissants in the oven, and we're actually going to eat that from the second one is finishing up here. All you do for the sausage croissants is you just do ground sausage, and then which we do. This is about 2 pounds, maybe a little bit more than 2 pounds, and I think you're supposed to do, I did a whole block of cream cheese in this and just kind of melted it in there, and then you just roll it, you lay your croissants out flat. I'll show you how to do it with this one, and then you bake it. We have done different things where I've gotten peppers and onions and fried those up with the sausage. That just makes a really nice additive to that. Get you some veggies in there as well. It's just easy to do, and we can serve it with a couple fried eggs, and you're good to go. Or some like home fries, and it makes a great easy breakfast. All you have to do is pull it out of the freezer and warm it in the oven, and you're good to go. So I will show you how to do this next croissant roll. I'm trying to get this at a good angle that you can see. So again, I just open the croissant rolls. I feel like they are never super easy to open. And these come in halves. And what I do is I roll these out. I'm going to be doing 2 here. And I just pinch together the seams. Guys, this is so easy. This is our Christmas morning every year breakfast. This is like a must in our house. It is so easy and so good. It's not really great on the healthy scale by any means, but it is a good thing to have. It tastes so good, and it's okay every once in a while. So pinch together all those seams, and then all we're gonna do is layer the sausage in here. Now you're gonna want to make sure you don't overfill it, because you have to pinch together the seams again on the top layer. I tend to always overfill it. You cannot get enough of this sausage in there. It is so good. It is so yummy, and it looks like I'm gonna have a little bit left over still. And I think I have another pack of croissant rolls, so I actually might be able to make half a one. Okay, layer that in there. And then take your other container. And you're just gonna layer this right on top. and pinch together all the seams. It's okay. This is pretty forgiving, and I try to not put grease in this, because sausage in general is greasy, and so I try to not scoop out the grease when I'm putting it in here. And there is your croissant roll. I'm gonna go ahead and do this other one, and then we are gonna get it in the oven, and you just follow the instructions for the croissants as far as baking, because your meat is already cooked. You're basically just cooking the croissant here. And so I believe it's like, I have to read the package, but I believe it's like 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes or something like that. I'd have to read it again, which I will here in a second. I think it's 10 to 12 minutes. You got to make sure the bottom's cooked, because they are thinner than, because when you generally make just the regular croissants, you're rolling them. So it's a thicker thing, you have to cook it a little bit longer, but this is thin on top. But you do have to get that bottom browned too. So that is it right there. And we, 2 for our family, but you could easily get like 3 pieces per side. So maybe 6 pieces about that big, for the whole thing. So we do 2. For Christmas morning, we'll definitely eat 2. But again, I'm also making other things as well with it. But for just grab and go, it's a great option. This recipe here is beef and broccoli teriyaki. So I have my sausage croissants in the oven. We have 1 meal made. The groceries are put away. And this beef is already cut. Beef and broccoli teriyaki. So it takes, this is going to be separated in 2 different bags. You're going to put a sauce bag and then the meat and vegetables. And you're going to put the sauce bag inside of this bag when you freeze it. So when you pull it out, it'll be 2 separate things. So what it has you do is add the steak and the cornstarch into this bag. And we are going to need a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And this is, oh sweet, it's a 1/4 cup. I grabbed a 1/4 cup. Okay. A 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And shake the bag until all sides of the pieces of steak are coated. Okay, and now you're going to go ahead and set this aside, and we're going to make the sauce. And the sauce is soy sauce, brown sugar, garlic, ginger, sesame seeds, sesame oil, and red pepper flakes. And you're just going to kind of mash that up, and then you're going to put this inside of the bag, and then you're going to take 3 to 4 cups of fresh broccoli or frozen broccoli and put that right on top without mixing it into the steak and cornstarch. So we're going to do that. Alright, so we already have the cheese and right? So anything helping me to have avocado cheese and garlic mixed up and incorporating spinach right into the avocado cheese. I have, yes, one spinach because I really know the spinach. So what we're going to do is we're going to later, this is no cook, just ready for everything. The only downside to this is the variety of meat incorporating the dish, but if you want to make a pan of creamy pulse recipes, I can both at the same time and pull out and break up. So we're going to layer red sauce on the bottom, and then we're going to do a layer of the rice, and then we're going to have the spinach, avocado cheese on top of the ravioli, and then we're just going to do that. Okay, I wanted to give a little update. I went ahead and I had Axel wake up, so I had to get him lunch and do that stuff and get him situated. So we took a little bit of a break, and during that break, I also had the kids clean up their fort that they had made and stuff like that, and I went ahead and did a quick cleaning to my kitchen, and I already have the dishwasher almost already full. I go into cooking days like this, and I try to, even like before dinner, which I'm not great at emptying the dishwasher. It's actually one of the kids' chores that they usually do. And I always like to try to start with that empty so that I don't actually have to keep doing dishes and I can just throw them in the dishwasher and it frees up so much space. So here's what I have so far on the table. I have the ravioli lasagna. I have the beef fajitas. I have the beef and teriyaki with a separate sauce. I have 2 sausage croissant rolls. And again, those are about a foot long, a little over a foot long. So those will be 2 different days of breakfast. This is a pan of meatballs, and then this is a meatloaf in there as well. So those are 9x13 pans. That's what I have so far working on. Currently right now I am chopping up some chicken for the pesto. I just got the tortellini and the Alfredo pesto sauce made, and it smells so good. I don't know if you like pesto or not, but this is very filling, and I will be excited when I can actually eat it. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going through, and this is actually still pretty warm. I just ended up boiling this chicken, and I did boneless, skinless chicken thighs. The recipe calls for rotisserie chicken. I find it incredibly time consuming to cook a whole chicken, and I know that sounds really a little ridiculous, but I find it incredibly time consuming to cook a whole chicken and then clean it all up. And so I just did, and we like boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and so that is what I have used today. And again, I just boiled it because it's going to be cooked when I go to bake it then all together. It's going to be in the creamy Alfredo pesto sauce. And so I did half of the large packs that I got from Aldi. And we'll see how it goes here. But you really can't mess it up with boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They are so good. And they're just so versatile. And on the cost spectrum, they are fairly inexpensive to get boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just going ahead and incorporating the chicken into the tortellini and pesto sauce, just mixing it up really good. And I am going to be putting it in a 9x13 pan. This is one of those dishes that is all in one, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting your meat and it's just like an all over good dish. Now what I would do with this is I would pair it with either some fresh broccoli as a side, or bear with me guys, I'm not the greatest at doing this with a baby on my hip, but he's being really good and not like sticking his hand in it, so that's great. Yeah, I know. Don't start now. No. As I say that, he reaches for my spoon. Where's your spoon? I gave you a spoon. Where's your spoon? Okay. I'm gonna put that in the sink. And I'm going to just spread this all out. Anyway, I would pair this with a fresh broccoli, or a salad would be really nice, or a Caesar salad. What's the matter? And then I have freshly grated mozzarella cheese here. And it said, I think, a cup of mozzarella cheese. I think it said 1 cup. I tend to always go a little heavier on the cheese, but that's okay. So, and that's it. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this with I switched to like a press and seal because I think it seals so much better. And so I'm doing a press and seal and then a foil over top of that and squishing out as much air as I can in between that layer. And then whenever I bake it, again, I will take that cling wrap or the press and seal wrap off and put on just a new fresh piece of foil and bake away. So this one says you're baking at 375 for 50 minutes, and then remove the foil the last 10 minutes until it's golden and bubbly. So I am very excited about this one and to try that one, and it was so easy. Tortellini in general is a little more expensive, so this dish, I think the packs of tortellini were around $3 each. I think around $3 each. So and the pesto was a little over $1. So, and then the chicken. So I mean, even still though, for a meal. Sure. Overall, for a meal, this is still so much more inexpensive to buy or make this at home. Even if you're buying a little more costly ingredients for a dish, this is so much more inexpensive than taking your family out to eat. And it's going to be such a time saver having this already in the freezer ready to go. Okay, so the recipe I'm currently on is cilantro lime chicken, and this is a new recipe for me. I haven't actually, this is one that I didn't get a sample, so I'm hoping that it's good. It calls for boneless, skinless chicken breasts, but I just used the other half of the package of the boneless, skinless chicken thighs for it. And basically you're putting everything into the gallon bag and just freezing it, and then you can cook it in an Instapot or the crock pot. So you could do either or. So I have my chicken already in the bag, and it calls for 1 cup of chicken broth, which is just the broth that I used to cook the chicken in. So let's make it easier, not more difficult, right? Black beans, rinsed and drained. 1 can of that. And then you're going to do 1 cup of orange juice. And then it says the juice of 2 limes, which I really have no idea how much that is, but I do have just like regular lime juice. So I'm just totally just adding some. I don't know. 1, 2. Okay, that's good. I don't know. That's probably not enough in the grand scheme of things, but we're just, again, guessing. You're going to do chopped cilantro. And we are going to add, I feel like I got everything except for, oh, okay. 2 teaspoons of garlic. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. And again, I am no chef. I eyeball pretty much everything. I'm probably very inconsistent, but it's okay. And then it requires corn, and requires 2 cups of corn. And so again, we use corn in our freezer, and so I'm just going to be dumping this bag right in here. And then that is it. That is all you're putting in this. And then the instructions are to add all the ingredients to a gallon-sized freezer bag and seal the bag, removing as much air as possible, and then label and freeze. And it gives like serving suggestions on this. I just love how pretty it looks layered too. Like, doesn't that look so pretty? And again, I'm going to be double bagging these because I just would rather play it safe than spill out in my freezer somehow. I mean, that would really only have to spill out in the first little bit, but I'm just playing it safe and double bagging these. And I can always reuse that second bag too. It's not like I'm going to waste it. I can reuse that second bag. Let me see here. It says serving suggestions. It says, my favorite way to serve this is homemade burrito bowls. And so you just add rice, sour cream, guacamole, and more cilantro for a delicious meal. Tacos and nachos are a great way to have this served as well. So honestly, I'm very excited about this recipe. I feel like you could just cook this in your Instapot, and then after that, you can just lay out and do one of those nacho tables and just do nachos everywhere like tortilla chips. Use this as a topping on top of those. Throw some more cheese and then all of your dipping. So your avocado, your guacamole, your salsa. I guess avocado and guacamole are the same things.
Hit me with the door.
Oh my goodness, are you okay? You'll be alright. You're tough. Oh. And so I think that would be a really great idea for this. The thing that concerns me the most is the orange juice and the lime juice, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to label and stick with my freezer meals.
Okay, so I am just now wrapping and finishing the Easy Sausage Gumbo. This is not usually a typical meal that I would make on a regular basis, but I think the kids will really like it as well as Ethan and I. And so it can be, the serving suggestions are served over rice, or crisp green salad, or corn on the cob. Corn on the cob would actually be really good as a side to this. So I'm gonna label this, and I do have one more recipe that I have not finished yet, and so it is turkey chili that I wanted just to do for today. And so I'm not quite sure. I think that this video is going to be in a 2-part series, and then the next time for part 2 I'm going to do the second half of my recipes. So we have a good bit. I'll do a little recap. Labeling this really quickly. I absolutely love this resource because it really just is simple, and when it comes to cooking it, it just really simplifies everything really well. So I have a decent sized mess in the kitchen to clean up. I've kept pretty good with the sink, but it's full again, so I'm going to be able to fit the last of it in the dishwasher and run it before we actually have dinner. And then for tonight, what I've chosen to do is just have a leftover night from the past few days, and so I don't have to do any more cooking today. This is going to be a wrap for this 2-part series. Today we have 3 of the bag freezer meals. So we have cilantro lime chicken, we have the beef fajitas, and the beef and broccoli teriyaki. So we have those 3. We have ravioli lasagna, we have 2 sausage croissant rolls, we have meatballs and meatloaf and sausage shrimp gumbo and the pesto tortellini. So I'm gonna say it's not too bad for all that I have done today. So again, these things are just kind of supplementing or the main course of the meal, and all I'll have to do is make a side and call it dinner. So thank you for joining me today. I will be busy cleaning up and then getting the kids off the bus and enjoying some time with these kids this evening. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Part 2 will be coming soon, as well as a preview into planting and seed starting soon as well. So thanks again. Stay tuned.